Hi everyone. I wanted to start today's show off with a challenge question to see if any of you knew what these items were. They're small, you could see about the size of a small belt buckle, beaded on top, it looks like silk on the bottom, and it says France on the back part inside that little metal buckle part. So, I'll tell you at the end of the video, but these came from a friend of mine who picked them up from the outlet, from the bins store, and had no idea what they were. Nobody there knew. They said, "Where's Jay when you need him?" So I wasn't down there that day, but let's see if any of you know. Put it down in the comments if you think you have an idea. And we'll get back to the video. I want to show you about 20 items that I've sold over the past 3 months, all for over $100. Mostly came from the Goodwill outlet, but some from antique shops. So this is one. This sold before Christmas. And 22-inch Union Products is the brand name. Santa head blow mold. Blow molds sell all the time. Christmas, Easter, Halloween is huge for them, but they'll sell all year round. If you get them, usually under $10, like you can see, this one sold for over $100. Well, $100 plus shipping. Shipping them can be tedious at times, but they sell well, so you could figure it out. Next item is a Carhartt jacket. This was actually mine that I used when I worked as an electrician about 6 years ago. Even longer than that, God, 10, 12 years ago. So this was mine. Used it for 4 years. You've used it even after that, and sold it for $127 on auction. So 13 bids. Carhartt jackets, even destroyed, they'll sell well. Here's a Ertl model kit. Brand new in the box, open box, but all the contents were sealed. Seems like that's usually how you find them, unless they're put together already. But most of them, you're going to find out in the wild, you're going to find open box with all the pieces sealed. Because the people get it, they're all excited, they open it up, realize how many pieces it is, and say, forget it, it's not for me. Put it away, and there it sits for 30 years till we find it and flip it to someone else. So that one I actually took a best offer. I picked these up locally off of Facebook. Some guy had a few of them. I bought 3 or 4. I think I paid $20 a piece. And this one ended up selling. I took a best offer of $125 plus shipping. This I got at an antique shop. This was a little oil lamp. You can see there the whole item, but here's the main part, this little figure. He was awesome. This dealer had about 3 or 4 of these, all figural. There was the Victorian lady with the cat and the little chimney sweep guy, but I thought this kid was different. So I picked him up for $20, sold for $130. It was complete, you could see, with the chimney on top. Beautiful frosted cut glass middle there. Nice marble or slate base. Real nice piece. $130, and paid $30 or $35 for it, so good profit. Here's a different Carhartt jacket. I put it up $137. Buy it now, and sold quick. I think this one sold in a day or two, and again, I had this one for probably 10 years. So this was a great Fenton vase. This one I bought, me and my partner were up in Massachusetts. She runs a rug hooking company, so she was doing some teaching up there, teaching a class. So I went up with her to help her set up and everything, and then I take off for the day and hit all the little local thrift shops up there in Cape Cod. And this was one of the scores I found, I think, at a Salvation Army for $3.99. Put it up and sold for $100, best offer. So, plus shipping, of course. I usually make them pay for shipping. This was fun. This guy was huge, 21-inch tall, Garfield plaster, so he was not light. Bought this at an online auction for $5. You can see I've got the apple over here for scale size. I always do that, just because a lot of customers don't know how to read, and they won't read the description and see how big something actually is in there. So I make sure I put the size a few times, and I always put an apple. figure everybody knows how big an apple is. So, but him I bought on an online auction for $5. Ended up selling on best offer for $100 plus shipping, and they paid. I think it was even more than the $42 they ended up paying for shipping because he was big and heavy. Here's a nice early Griswold. So Griswold is one of the big cast iron makers. If you see Griswold and you can get it for a good price, $10, $20, usually worth picking up. Got to make sure they're not cracked. And if it just says Erie, like this one does, up top here, it's a early Griswold. So it means it's before the company was called Griswold, but same company. And the reason I picked this up, I got it at an antique shop. You can see there's the Erie. Number 8 here is the size of the pan, but the special part is this little thing right here. That's the maker's mark. So the makers of the pot, they would stamp their own little mark on it sometimes. There was butterflies or little just geometric shapes, like this one's a little star or something, or flower. But if you see that and you notice that, that can add a lot of value to it. I paid $60 for this at an antique shop here in Connecticut. I live in New Haven area, Connecticut. So we've got a few good antique shops around here. Here was a Continental typewriter, German made. I love selling typewriters. They're fun and easy to test, and as long as all the buttons work and move, it's working. Send it on its way. I always write in there that it'll need a new ribbon, because the ribbons are usually dried up from sitting for so long, and if people do want to write with them, which a lot of people do now, they're going to need a new ribbon. But you can usually find those online on eBay or something pretty cheap. So this one I bought from the outlet. Paid $5 for it down there. All the typewriters at my outlet are $5. So quick $142 with 6 bids. So that was an auction we did. This one was nice, also from the outlet. So bamboo fly rod, I probably paid $4 for it. 8.5 feet long. So this was a 4-piece, as you could see. Signed right down here. Phillips and Harrison, Paragon, and they'll always have the marks here. So I don't know if the 79 was the year, but 8.5 is 8.5 feet, and then 5 ounces, that's the weight of it, tells the fly fisherman what line to use for it. And the HDH here has something to do with the model also, the flexibility of it, which matters to the customers, and they know what they're looking at. So as long as you tell them what it is, they're going to buy it. For this one was one of the less desirable Phillips and Paragon rods, and it sold for $150. Some of these old bamboo fly rods could go for many hundreds of dollars. So something to watch out for. This was a model airplane by the Ultimate Soldier. I bought these at an online auction. I bought 4 or 5 of them. I think I paid $10 a piece. The rest of them sold for right around $100. This was the bigger one at $165. So, not a bad sale. This was nice. This was a nice little art glass lampshade that I actually found in Coventry, Connecticut at an antique shop this past weekend. It was on one of the old cast iron gooseneck lamp bases, but it definitely wasn't originally there. So they weren't a matching pair at all. But somebody put it on there. They were asking $24 for it. I knew this shade was good, and I knew the base was at least $24 or $30 I could get out of it, at least. So I put the shade up by itself and sold overnight. I believe I took an offer of $145 for that. So it was only 4-inch tall, but little crackled glaze, beautiful. Wasn't signed. I was hoping to find a maker on it, but ended up selling before I could even get that far with the research. So moving on to the next one. This was an outlet find again. Paid $5 or $6 at the Goodwill bins. A therapeutic massager kit. Most of these I saw sold without the handle, so I don't know if the handle wasn't working on theirs or if they just never had it in the first place with it, but I sold mine as a complete working unit for $200, sold within a couple days of listing. Like I said, got it from the bins, so paid $5. As you can see, I get different kind of unique items. I don't do much with clothing other than the Carhartt and Levi's here and there, but this was an old advertising sign, cigar store, Indian. This was made for the Ohio Match Company. You can see, where is it? Right there on his little scarf, it says Ohio. This I found at an antique shop. I forget where we were, but it was up on the top shelf. I saw them sitting there, and these are always expensive. These are always in the couple $100s when you see them at a shop. So I saw the price tag said $60. I had to look again. I thought they said $600, but nope, said $60. I noticed the Ohio because they only had it listed as Chalkware Indian. So they didn't say anything about a tobacco store or the Ohio Match Company. But once I saw the little Ohio on the scarf, I looked it up quite a bit while my partner was walking around shopping. I'm browsing through Google and every other website real quick to try to find it. Found them selling pretty well, picked it up for $60, sold for $170 in under a week of listing. This was nice. I like studio pottery and glass and stuff. It always interests me. I actually just bought a really nice WMF Germany glass vase. It weighs like 20 pounds. It's ridiculous. But this was a McCarty Studio Pottery 10-inch candle pipe plate. So it has these 5 little pipes coming up off of it for candle holders. Great condition. These sell really well. There was a couple sold higher on eBay than this one. More desirable colors. So mine was not a very pretty brown color, but still sold. Let's see, I took an offer on this one of $185. And this one sold twice. Somebody made an offer of $160. I accepted it, and then they never paid. So I relisted it after a week, and the same day took an offer $185. So it works for me. Paid $3 from the bins. This was another online auction buy. I paid $20 for this robot. Didn't realize how big it was because they had nothing in the pictures for scale and nothing in the description that said how big it was. So I'm going thinking it's this little 6-inch robot guy, and he's 18 inches tall. The box was almost 2 feet by 2 feet. So that one cost a little bit for shipping as well. I think that's why it took so long for it to sell. But I took an offer of $150 on this. So, again, pretty good sale. Excuse me. This was another nice Fenton vase I got from a antique shop, or more of a consignment shop, I guess this one was. This weekend when we were on the way to Coventry, we stopped, still northeast Connecticut. This one they had $15 they were asking. Signed by the artist on the bottom. You can see, let's see, where is it? I should have a bottom picture. Here, hand signed by A. Farley. So sometimes Fenton vases are signed by the artists. Some artists demand more value than others, obviously. But yeah, $250 I listed it for. I ended up taking an offer of $135 just because I paid $15 for it, and I was getting money back from everything else that I had spent on that weekend. So that worked out well. This was a fun sale also from the same weekend. It was a really good weekend at that antique shop. This is Oddfellows fraternal peephole cover. So if you don't know what the Oddfellows are, think like Freemasons, Masonic Lodge, that kind of fraternal thing. Oddfellows were their own branch, their own rituals, own lodges, and everything they had. But this one was a little brass or bronze peephole cover I found at an antique shop hanging on the wall. They had it marked they were asking $25. I always do well with Oddfellows stuff. It sells very fast and very well for me. So this was a no-brainer at $25. I saw some others had sold for $75, $125, and $225. So there's none available. So my favorite saying is find another one. So I put it up at $240 and it sold overnight that night. So 25 into $240 was a great flip. This one here was nice. Maitland Smith is a furniture name that you want to watch out for. I believe they were from the 70s, but he made really high-end furniture in the 70s, modeled after Georgian and Victorian furniture from early 1800s, 1700s. So this one I got from the outlet again, paid $5 for it. It's missing the center, so it's just the frame of a footrest. And I ended up selling that $225. So that one took 3 days to sell. Had a lot of watchers on it. Next, this is another Oddfellows item. This was a hanging wall shelf, so this would have been in a lodge holding something, who knows what. But this has a lot of their motifs. This has the heart in the hand. This has FLT there in the middle, which is one of their motto. It's friendship, loyalty, and truth. It has the Oddfellows chain right here, which is the linked chain. The arrows pointing. And then at the bottom here, another one of their motifs is the hourglass underneath the shelf, I mean. So this was a very cool piece, and this dealer did not know what they had. They had it marked as folk art, heart in hand vase, or shelf. So they did not have any idea that it was Oddfellows related. This one, I paid $35 for it, and it sold in about a week. I took an offer of $360. So 10 times my money on a $35 buy is a pretty good way to do it. Getting to the end, this was impressive. This was the best Chinese carved panel that I've ever seen. 30 inches tall. The detail on this thing was incredible. I actually bought 2 of these. There's some damage, there was some dings and some splits and stuff, but it's an antique piece and it's so finely carved. It was covered in gilt paint originally, but most of it had worn off and gotten covered in dust and everything. But the details were incredible on this piece. I ended up buying 2 of these at the Goodwill for $11 each. Put them both up at $500. This one sold. The other one I still have. So I may drop the price down a little bit, but the details on these were incredible. Very cool piece. When I first saw it, I expected them to be plastic because they were on the bottom shelf with all the wall hangings. So I bent down and picked them up, and now completely solid wood, beautiful, intricate designs. Such a cool piece. And they're going overseas. I forget exactly where, but I just shipped that out yesterday. So that's gone $350. So not bad. And my best flip for this month was, again from the outlet, this thing. I say this thing because most people, including myself, had no clue what it was when I first saw it. It didn't have these dials here exposed when I first picked it up. Obviously, if it did, I would have been able to tell right what it was. New patent, frictionless. Okay. Improved log, Edward Macy. Okay. Still don't know what it is. Turns out this was, a ship's log. So what that means is this is from 1850, so there would be a rope tied to this end. They would throw it in the water, and the fins here would spin like a little torpedo going through the water, and it was like an early pedometer. As it was spun, these dials would spin and track how far the ship had gone. So, took a little bit of digging and a little bit of research to figure out what it was. 21 inches long, brass, beautiful, beautiful piece. I paid $5 from the outlet for it. Put it online for $795. Overnight, I got an offer of $650 and accepted. And that was that. Beautiful sale. $650 from $5, $6. So, thank you. If you thought that was cool, if you liked the stuff, do a like, give me a like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, this is my first video, so this is the kind of stuff that I buy and sell all the time. If you want to see more cool stuff, and I'll start getting into specialized videos, more information on each item, specific items, comment, like, subscribe, and back to the beginning, the challenge question I gave you. If you don't know what these are antique French shoe clips. So, basically a little bling to add onto your shoes in the 1920s and 30s. So if you did know it, congratulations, good job. I'll try to stump you next time. If you weren't sure, now you know. I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment, like, subscribe. I'll see you next time.